Hey, great afternoon, everybody. How are you? Come on in the room. Come on in the room. I'm going to share this 1 second. Let's see if we can share this. As you can see, this is a little bit different. This is the mobile edition. I am out on my lunch break from work. And so, as you're coming on in the room, say hello. Say hello. Say hello. Definitely like and share this video. I am going to like and share it now. I know it's a little bit different for us because I'm not normally in the car. I am normally home with the proper background, but this is the mobile edition. And so you make adjustments, and it goes kind of sort of with what we are talking about today. Um, hey, Miss Val, how are you? It goes a little bit about how we're talking about today, overcoming distractions. And so, listen, sometimes things don't always go the way you think they should go. And sometimes things don't always go according to plan. And so my plan was to be back home so that I could do my lunchtime empowerment talk straight from home. And guess what? Things didn't go that way. I said, but guess what? We are still here. Great afternoon, Melissa. How are you? Good to see you, butterfly. Keep blooming. But listen, let's talk about this overcoming distraction. Because when we talk about overcoming distraction, we have to actually be real with ourselves that we all suffer from some level of distraction. I don't care how strong you are. I don't care how long you've been in what you've been in. I don't care what you got going on. I don't care how focused you are. We all handle some level of distraction. We all have some level of distraction, whether we were planning for something to go one way and then a monkey wrench is thrown in the plan or something happens. Listen, we all have some level of distraction. And so when we talk about overcoming distraction, as you, hey, Aunt Jackie, how are you? As you're coming in the room, please like and share the video. As I told them, this is a bit different. This is the Lunchtime Empowerment Talks, the mobile edition. As I am out and about. I didn't make it home in time. And guess what? That distraction I had to overcome. We're talking about overcoming distraction, right? That distraction I had to overcome and realize that sometimes you have to make sure that your what you're dealing with or your why or what you have, don't let anything hinder. Yes, best friend, the mobile edition. Because here, when we're talking about, and it's ironic that God would do this, when we're talking about overcoming distraction, you have to be able to still connect to your why, even when the process seems to go a different way. You still have to be connected to your why, even when you think you got it mapped out, you got it all dotted, you got it all whatever. And then guess what? Something happens that gets you off track and you can't do it the way you thought you were. What do you do at that point? Do you stop? Do you throw it away? Or do you realize that you have to be what? My first thing I want to share with you, you have to be intentional. What do I mean? What do you mean by intentional, Dr. Vaughn? I mean, I am so intentional that I was going to do, hey, Arlene, how are you? I am so intentional that the lunchtime empowerment talk was going to happen today, that even if I had to do it from the car, it was still going to happen. Why? Because it's not about how it happens. It's about the fact that I am committed that it does happen. I have to be intentional that when distractions come, I have to push them out of the way and still push forward. You have to be intentional. I don't Your level of distraction may not be my level of distraction. My level of distraction may not be yours. What may knock you off may not even bother me. But you have to understand the case in point. If you are in the way and you know that you are trying to write and you know that your phone is a distraction, then sometimes you got to put your phone on do not disturb or you got to put it in another room so that you can get what you need to get done. If in fact that you are setting out to do a specific thing that you said that you're going to say you're going to read, then sometimes you got to put your phone on do not disturb. Well, case in point. Or if you're saying let's be more intentional. If you're saying I'm about to get my eating back on track and you see an advertisement and it's real big about Krispy Kreme, sometimes you got to walk out the room. You can't watch that. You got to go do something else or whatever to that advertisement is over. You have to know what your distraction triggers are. You have to be intentional about understanding who you are. My distraction may not be Melissa's distraction, but if Melissa knows her distractions, when it shows up, she can be intentional about not allowing that distraction to manifest. Listen, it's going to come, but it does not prosper. It's just like I said, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. It never said the weapon wouldn't be formed. So why do we get surprised when the weapon is formed? It never said it wouldn't be formed. It said it wouldn't prosper. Same thing with distractions. The distractions are going to come, especially if you're on a journey, especially if you're focused on something. Distractions are going to come. Let me tell you why. Two things. Distractions are going to come just because they're natural. And distractions also going to come number two, because the enemy, when you become focused, the enemy is a deceiver. It's his job to steal, kill, and destroy. So therefore, he will bring distractions to cause you to lose your focus. Because here's the thing, he doesn't have any power. But if he can cause you to lose your focus and give up your power, then therefore he can distract you enough so you can get off track, so you can just say, I'm not going to do it anymore. The next thing you have to do outside of being intentional is you got to minimize the chaos in your space. I can't hear nobody. You got to minimize the chaos in your space. I'm going to say that again because that was good to me. You have to minimize the chaos in your space. Why? It goes back to being intentional. Your space is just that. Who's your space? Did you hear what I said? Your space is just that. Who's yours? So you have to be intentional. What? About not only being intentional that you recognize that the distraction is there and you be intentional, but now you got to minimize the chaos in your space. This is your space. So guess what? I control my peace in my space. You can try to bring it, but I control the peace in my space. Why? Because I need the peace so that I can have the free flow that God needs to do what he needs to do in me and continue to flow. So what I have to do is, once I am intentional, now I got to identify that the distraction is here. It may be chaotic, and now I got to I got to minimize this chaos in my space. What does that mean? Sometimes I got to go for a walk, y'all. Sometimes I got to go for a walk. Sometimes I got to take a walk. Sometimes I got to take a drive. Whatever controlling your peace is for you, you have to minimize the chaos and control your peace. Then, on top of that, then here's another distraction. Many of us, we set big goals, and when they don't come, the level of distraction comes in the form of fear and failure. So what you have to do is focus on the little victories and not the big ones. I said it again. Focus on the little victories and not the big ones. I said again, focus on the little victories and not the big ones. You will get so distracted about the progress that you're making, trying to look at the fact that the big thing has not happened yet. But did you forget that you just made a milestone? Did you forget that you were very successful in one of the tasks? Did you forget that one of your goals were actually met? Don't minimize the small victory, and so because you're so distracted looking at the big victory. Yes, we want the big victory. Yes, we want the big manifestation. Yes, we believe it's all coming. We believe that our vision is manifesting. We believe that our vision is coming. But what we have to do is sometimes we get so distracted looking at the bigger one that we miss that we just accomplished something. Each one of my small victories leads me to the big one. Do you hear what I'm saying? Each one of my small victories leads me to the big one. So if I don't recognize and celebrate the small victory, how in the world am I going to appreciate the big one? Each of the small victories teach me how to actually appreciate that which is to come. Why? Because I am working at what I am working on, and each level that he allows me to achieve allows me to be grateful for another level. So by the time I get to the big manifestation, you can't tell me nothing. I know that's not good English, but you can't tell me anything. The next thing, after you are intentional, that's the first thing, be intentional. After you minimize the chaos in your space, and after you focus on the small victories, then you have to envision yourself doing what you need to do. Because here's the thing. Sometimes, some of us, me included, sometimes we hear it we say it, but we don't see ourselves doing it. So we get distracted by what we see with our natural eye. Sometimes this natural eye will get you in trouble. Sometimes you got to stop looking at what's really clear right before you and start looking into the spirit realm and start actually seeing yourself manifesting what you believe you're going to manifest. But the problem is many of us only see what we see right now. We only see what's before us. So if I am intentional about recognizing my distractions, if in fact I am minimizing the chaos in my space, and if in fact I am focusing on the smaller victories as I get to the big one, then I can envision myself. I can envision myself doing what the distraction is trying to tell me I can't. Did you hear what I said? I can envision myself doing what the distraction wants me to think I can't. Because here's the thing. Distractions only come to make you second guess what it is that you believe you can do. Distractions only come to make you think that what the promise is won't come. Distractions only come to cause you to get off track or lose focus and possibly give up on your promise. So therefore, you have to begin to look at this different. You have to begin. And so here's another thing. After you do all of that and you begin to see yourself working, you have to begin to start working on your internal distractions. Woo! This is a big one. You have to begin to start working on your internal distractions. What are you saying, Dr. Vaughn? Some of us have internal distractions that have nothing to do with what's happening on the outside. Some of us are fighting with ourselves on the inside. Some of us are fighting with ourselves on the inside. We have some internal distractions that we are at tug of war with ourselves. So nobody on the outside said we couldn't do anything. Everything is at our fingertips. It seems like it's coming to pass. It seems like everything is going, but we have an internal distraction that keeps reminding us that the last time it didn't work. We have an internal distraction that keeps reminding us nobody in my family ever did this. We have an internal distraction that keeps saying to us, you can't do this. We have an internal distraction that keeps making us think when we look in the mirror, we're not good enough. We have internal distractions that really have nothing to do with anybody but ourselves. So you have to begin to look at yourself and deal with that internal distraction. What is inside of you that is causing you to second guess everything that you know the Lord said you can have? What is in you that's causing you to be distracted by going after your dreams? What is it in you that's causing you to be distracted, that's telling you that you can't build that business, you can't write that book? What is the internal distraction that's causing you to say that you can't? Okay? So after you are intentional, after you minimize the chaos in your space, after you focus on the smaller victories, as you visualize yourself working, you have to then work on your internal distractions. And then it's the one that we always talk about, the external distractions. It's easy to handle the external distractions because you can identify them. But when you have to deal with the internal distractions, that means you have to face the fact that you got to do some work. The external distractions have elements to deal with other people, but the internal distractions have to deal with you. You have to do something about the internal distractions that are within you. Yep. And then here's the thing. The last thing is you have to manage your momentum. Okay? You have to manage your own momentum. Too often we are waiting for somebody else to give us a push. We're waiting for somebody else to pat us on the back. We're waiting for somebody else to say, good job. We're waiting for somebody else to say, go for it, go for it. We're waiting for somebody else to be our cheerleader. We're waiting for somebody else to say, yes, you can do it. That is all wonderful. But you have to maintain your own momentum. It's exciting when you first get it. It's exciting when you first start. But you have to maintain your own momentum even in the presence of distractions. How do I do that, Dr. Vaughn? Remind yourself of your why. Did you hear what I said? Remind yourself of your why. When you get weak and you start, it start like, oh, I don't think I can do this. I'm tired. I'm frustrated. Remind yourself of your why. Your why will always charge you back up. Your why will always bring that exhilaration again. Your why will always fuel you. But here's the thing is, when is the last time that you referenced your why? When is the last time that you went back to your why? Some of us been doing some things so long, we haven't even went back to our why. And so we just keep pushing. We're tired. We're exhausted. Trust me, if you go back to your why, your momentum will build back up again. Yes, I'm telling you now, distractions will come. Yes, they're going to come. Yes, you can't avoid them. Yes, they're going to be present. But in order for you to overcome them, you got to be intentional. In order for you to overcome them, you got to minimize the chaos in your space. In order for you to overcome obstacles, you got to focus on the small victories. In order for you to overcome obstacles, you got to see yourself doing what you believe you can do. In order for you to overcome the obstacles, you got to face the internal distractions. In order for you to overcome distractions, you got to also be able to identify the external distractions. And then finally, in order for you to overcome distractions, you have to maintain your momentum. What is your momentum? Your why. What fuels your why? Your momentum. What fuels your momentum? Your why. That's what builds you. That's what pushes you. Your why will always keep you pushing forward. So listen, I told you I came on today. I know that this is kind of impromptu because this is Lunchtime Empowerment Talks with Dr. Vaughn, the mobile edition. Because I'm just leaving a meeting for work. Grabbing some lunch to go back to work. So therefore, literally, this was the mobile edition. And so listen, I hope that you take one of the tools, apply them, that something help you today. Listen, distractions are going to come, but you have the ability to overcome them. Distractions will come, but you have the ability to overcome them. All of them. So listen, you got it. You got it. That's right. Yes, Felicia. Yes. Back to the why. Yes, my why. My why is pushing me. My why is pushing me. And as long as my why is pushing me, it don't matter. Just like I told y'all, I had, a couple of glitches today. And so I wasn't able to get back home in time to do the why, to do the empowerment live. What did I do? I recognized my internal distraction, realized that it wasn't going to get me. My why was still that I love to come on and share with you every Tuesday at 1 p.m. So what did I do? Pulled right on over on the side of the road. We're going to do this the mobile edition. I love you too, Aunt Jackie. And so therefore, my why fuels me. That's the momentum that keeps me going. My why. So listen, believe it and know you can overcome. Hey, Octavia, how are you? You can overcome every distraction. If you're just hopping on, please catch the replay so you can get the nuggets. I just dropped a few just to help you, just to understand that you can overcome every distraction. Every distraction. Every distraction. Yes, you can. Yes, you can overcome every distraction. So listen, I'll see you back here next Tuesday, 1 p.m. for Lunchtime Empowerment Talks with Dr. Vaughn. I am Dr. Shavonna Whitehead, and as always, my privilege, my honor, and my pleasure to come and share with you. And listen, if you haven't already heard, the More Box is now available. It's called the More Box. It is a box that is located on our webpage, www.shavonnawhitehead.com. It comes with a More mug, a t-shirt, a book, a wristband, in a nice old More box, custom box. Perfect for gift giving and everything. So listen, join me back here. Invite somebody next week for Lunchtime Empowerment Talks. We growing together. We push each other. But most of all, we love on each other. Thank you so much, Felicia. I love you and I appreciate you. So listen, I'll see you back here next Tuesday, 1 p.m. for Lunchtime Empowerment Talks. Listen, have an amazing day and know you can overcome every distraction coming your way. All right, talk to you soon.